And welcome back. This is the first stream of Songs of Six since the break where I was out helping people move. So we're going to sort of get ourselves reacquainted with the city here. This is a city that we started leading as the Dondorians in a cold climate. We've brought in some Kryptonians to make beer, some humans to do research, and some Amivians to do fishing. The Amivians in particular, I think we actually do want to improve the happiness of, so we can get more in to do more fishing. Around and around that goes, right? And, sorry about that. I only came barging in. So yeah, we want to probably improve the happiness of the Amivians so we can get some more in to do fishing. Although they're a little picky. And there's not much we're going to necessarily want to do to help them. We're not going to give them massage parlors. They actually don't like the fact that we've done hospitals, although they're going to have to steal. Yeah, so immediate signs, I don't see anything we can necessarily do to help with them. Although we'll still try to keep bringing more of them in if we can. Yeah, at some point it's probably going to be furniture. We're going to have to get furniture going. Okay. And then out on the world map, we do have, I think, a pending potential war here with one of our neighbors. They've been sort of, due to the rivalry, picking fights with us. I believe our field army should be able to beat their field army. We got about 1,000 troops in the... Where's my army? Yeah, I got about 1,000 troops in the field. So we can take their army on fairly easily. We may even be able to take it on with a garrison if we do an offensive maneuver here. And then as long as we've got their army defeated, then we can go lay siege to the other two cities that they have. I don't think we can necessarily fight their army and those cities at the same time. So yeah, if that does devolve into war, I think that will be for our benefit. And it's still too early for us to declare it, because the current state of sort of a neutral status with them is still too fresh. So let's go ahead and unpause a bit. We're making about 310 net coal here. But one thing I didn't necessarily realize in the past was I believe hearths do consume resources. They're not completely free, and because they're a service need, it doesn't reflect that in the coal and wood consumption numbers. So that's just something to be aware of going forward. We probably need to fell some trees. Let's do a big batch of tree felling. Some more wood coming in. One other thing we'll probably want to improve is we can improve some of the services. We've got 150 knowledge. I think the short-run choice here is to take the hearth upgrade and the fancy lights. That's 150. At which point we are going to want to save up the Grand Arena. We're going to want to go through the temple and Glory the Astaria here. I think we're holding off on the temple because we would need jewelry to properly develop it, which is an extra expense that we don't really want to deal with right now. And then we got bathhouses into extravagant walls. Bathhouses we probably will do, but we'll hold off a little bit. Yeah, let's spend our 150 here, pick up you, and pick up you. And then I can check what the upgrade cost would be on those. I have a good amount. Let's start just upgrading those. The thing that's going to become a problem, which is going to stop us mid-upgrade probably, is the metal. And we picked up hearth as well, so we'll want to upgrade the hearth at some point. Okay, that's everything northwest of the river. I don't have any lights in here. I should probably put some lights in that hallway at some point. Okay, should remember everything north of there has its torches upgraded. Let some time pass, wait for the metal to recover. Also look at the cost for the hearth upgrades. That also requires iron, or metal. So I may want to expand metal production. The current upgrades here. Yeah, we're down to 10 positive at the time. Metal smelter would be another 38 workers. Let's go ahead and grab another one of those. Here we go. So that'll provide us with more metal smelting. We'll want to bring more Dondorians in. In fact, I think I'll bring another like 100 in right now. Work the metal smelter and the mines. Overhead, so we've reached the first point where we're going to have to start thinking about doing administration rooms, which of course means paper. I'm going to have to get paper coming in. Okay. Well, paper produced, probably. Probably don't want to import it. Up to the 3 and 16 metal. Everything we're working on right now, as far as improving the city, because I think we're doing hearths and we're doing torches, right? Both those cost metal, quite a bit of metal. To improve. And so none of them are good. Well, the hearths will help with the medians. The torches not so much. Although if we do the torches everywhere, I think that'll help a little bit as well. Because I think they do want torches. That would be an environment. Yeah, they would care about the upgrade. Most of the Mivians must be neighborhoods with not enough torches. Okay, let's do a round of upgrading the torches. I'm being careful not to upgrade the houses unless I need them upgraded, but torches are what we're aiming for. I'm doing it in a way that if I hit the benches that aren't upgraded, the benches are supposed to be upgraded, so it shouldn't do anything to the benches, but I wouldn't mind upgrading the benches as well if they weren't. There we go, a little farther south. It's going to raise the upkeep cost on metal. Yeah, that's going to add up over time. So, that's one reason we're building this the next smelter. Interesting. Do you have a homelessness problem anywhere? Brought more people in, and it doesn't... Oh, we got a little bit over here. Okay, we're going to want a little couple over there. A couple houses close to that spot. And then we'll activate this road. We'll build one of the blocks here. Should be much closer to that housing. It should help the workers in the area be housed. fact, I haven't even built the housing already, and they've supposedly sorted their housing problem out. Although it's moved a problem to over here. We'll see how that helps. And then out on the world map, we're prepared to do something if we need to do something. I think it's still too... Yeah, it's still too early for us to start it. Another thing I will do... let's create a new... Whoops. New unit. But it's basically like this. We're going to make one large group, well, we're going to raise the number of trained soldiers we have. They don't necessarily need to be super trained. And this is because in the environment, the Dondorians care about the army size. They want about a quarter of the town to be army, trained as recruits. They don't need to be fully militia trained or melee trained, although they give us more from melee training as well. But at the moment, we'll sort of just bulk up the number of sort of militia men we have. I really feel like something's taking a bunch of my workforce. Although that might be... Oh, that's the wood coming in. Yeah, we chopped down a bunch of forest, so the warehouses are requesting more haulers to pull it in. Sure. Oh, that's a... Oh, I copy and pasted the wrong one. I did the smithy. Whoops. Whoops. I want it to be this one. Easy enough fix. But yeah, it's complaining about stone and wood. I don't think that's true. I think that's obviously the place hasn't been cleared yet, so they're having pathing problems. Anyway, with this once this extra metal is sorted out, and we've got more people in, I think the next thing we apparently need to go on to doing is making paper to run the administration. One thing I haven't checked, does anyone have... I don't think any of the races have a specialty to admin. I don't think it's like there's a human style bonus, although there might be a human style bonus. Against the embassy, everyone's the same. Well, actually, everyone's the same except for the Argonaut. Apparently, the man-eating giant creatures are not good diplomats. Who would have guessed? Where on here would admin be? That's the embassy. Nurseries. You're the administration. Okay. Okay, so the humans are the specialist at administration as well. So when we do build the admin buildings, apparently they're going to go down in the human quarter. They're going to be down here. Although I think I might put them over here. Yeah, I'll probably put them over here. I don't think we're going to need quite as many as we do labs, but obviously having the humans work on them is probably the way to work. And then sort of preemptively, let's go into the priority system, humans. Admin gonna show, the admin does show up here. Okay, I'm going to set humans to max and then... That way, humans will hopefully prioritize the work in those jobs over other people. Yeah, waiting for metal to go up, waiting for this new metal smelter to be refined, built and carved out of the mountain. I'm gonna splurge again. We're gonna go 2850, another Dondorians in. I think I've got the housing for it. Oh, maybe I don't have the services for it. That's a slightly different problem. That section's in. We'll do a quick skim of the city. Make sure that everyone has housing near their work sites. It's easy enough to get that screwed up, and in fact, we do need more housing over here. Okay. More for the people to carve out in the mountain. Although some of that is probably also the fact that the odd jobbers moved into this area to help with the carving. Oh, well, that wood has been harvested and transported to storage, and we don't have a lot of wood left. Chop down another hunk of the forest. Almost done clearing up the metal smelter. How much does the metal smelter eat? About 140 of each. Okay. And you're making... Is that like 8 a worker? Yeah, it looks about 8 a worker. So... That's about 20 more workers? Up to 170 workers for the moment. And it'll be probably... Oh, it's a little worse on the ore mine because we don't have as many bonuses to ore. We'll do 25 on the ore mine. So up to 140 there. Carving about... Well, that'll be another 6 houses, and we'll do another 6 as soon as the other roadways carved in. Yeah, from a service need perspective, I think we got some decent potential for some more services to complete improving. I did the math before the stream. It's going to cost us about 1,000 knowledge to completely unlock all the services, if you include the religious components in the services as well. wood and stone coming in to build the metal smelter. Okay, everything's delivered, so I just gotta put it together. And then that will help with metal production. It should actually double metal production, so we'll go from making net 0 to making 140 something, which will be great. Oh, interesting. This is my other ore deposit, although it's going to be a while before we want that. Although, surprisingly getting pretty close to actually being maxing out these mines. Surprised about that. There we go. 38 new worker jobs for the metal smelter. Oh, it's not going to be doubling because I already had 3. So it's from 3 to 33% improvement. Apparently I still have an ore shortage. Okay. Like another 20 miners then. And we actually want surplus on coal because I think it's getting consumed by the hearths around the town. So I suspect we probably want like a surplus like 300 coal production. Although we're pretty close to that. I think that's good enough for the moment. Okay, do I have the tech unlocked for papermaking? I do. Okay, so there's my alluvium if I want to grow more forests. The woods fall silent. The forests around our capital have changed overnight. White fungus spreads through the underbrush and kills healthy trees within days. The stench of decay is heavy in the air. Some other animals have already left the region. Okay. Well, we can use Shada if we had it. We don't. So we're gonna have to go with the burn it to deal with the fungus. Or we could suffer the penalty for however long it goes. We're gonna go with the burn it option. Anyway, we're getting malices in a bunch of industries. Mostly that's gonna hurt us in fiber production for the duration here. Because it doesn't affect fisheries if I'm reading that correctly. Let's slow the speed down a bit because I'm going to be doing designing a new building. Paper maker. Make paper in here. Simply one block to start. What's the workbench shaped like? Okay, so it's the standard workbench shape. Okay, that should work. Can I get enough auxiliaries in here to make this work? Probably. Yep, that'll work. Nope. Oh, apparently I needed a support player somewhere to get the thing maxed out. Okay, that'll work. Sort of screws up the pretty design, but it'll work. Could probably change the stockpile and it will work a little bit better. Be a little more symmetrical, but that's fine. What's the space looking like here? You're full. Okay, that's not where we want to put the warehouse. Or at least can't benefit from putting more in that warehouse. This is mostly going to be wood and paper storage. So as I can pick up some of the road space I would normally use for the warehouse. There's warehouse. Been a while since I played, so I'm trying to remember where buttons are. Over here, let's... Okay, so they're still carving the space out. Although I think... Oh, no, we definitely do need that housing, because we're still having proximity for housing people here. Issues. And then you were having hauling issues, so probably copy and paste the haulers. Certainly going to copy and paste the road decorations as well, but that's going to be fine. Okay, metal's looking a lot better. Let's go around while waiting for some of the stuff to complete. Do more torch upgrades. I think that whole neighborhood just needs more torches, to be fair. Because the industry section doesn't have any. Not that the housing section doesn't have enough. I think the housing section is pretty good there. Okay, hold off until I do the next one, because then I'm going to want a lot of metal for the next one. Next neighborhood. Although we're going to do a little bit of copy and pasting here. So you... Section wants to get pasted there. Now comes the paper maker. Paper maker is done, which is actually taking us negative in the odd jobbers for the moment. Okay. Your job is settings. Get wood. Get paper. I'm not actually sure what I want with the rest of it, but like actually, because it's a big one, we'll just do a bunch of wood and a bunch of paper. At some point, we'll upgrade it and reduce the number of stacks of each. Okay, and it's nice enough to do the copy and paste of the upgrades on the bench and the torches here, so I don't have to do those upgrades manually. Cool. And then, before I bring in more people, I know we're odd job or negative. Degradation over here. Where's the... I'm getting distracted by the fact I'm realizing I might need more janitors. Does the janitor coverage go far enough? It does, although... we'll probably need a new one anyway. Yeah. Let's grab a janitor group. But we're going to put administration here. So we're going to turn the speed down to slow while the administration, or I'm designing the administration. Looking for something big. Okay, that's not going to work. Do I need to get rid? Okay, well that might work. Doing it like that. Okay, shelves have to be accessible, so if I'm putting stuff between... things, I gotta stretch out like that, which isn't a deal. Although I can probably make that work. $56. It's definitely a situation where we want to make them bigger. We can get the shelving to work. There's actually even an argument, if I get it to work, do that. Yeah, if I can get that to work, do that. Okay, let's clear this up for the moment. Okay, so we go for a max size clerk station, let's say. Can I get it to not be yellow? Every corner. No. Okay, that would work. That's maybe not ideal, but I think I can get that to work. That's 56 as well. So we haven't necessarily saved or improved the efficiency of the worksite yet by doing that combination square-wise. To save space, I'm going to have to, well, to make it do more, I'm going to have to do... and that's going to become a problem. Okay, because it's not wide enough for that. Yeah, we'd have to go out one more. Which could be done. I could probably work that if I wanted to. Okay, so let's clear up enough of this so I can try that roll. So we worked out we probably want it to be too wider. Okay, max size clerk station, like before. One in from the end. Space. 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 And each of the corners. And offset from the middle. We do something like that for support. Okay. Then I probably want to put in more clerk stations. We're going to go for that. Okay. And then... Okay, the shelves need to be accessible on both sides. I'm going to do the type that needs accessibility. So, on the other hand, we can get away with something that looks like you. Okay, that gets us up to 80%. We can do carpets in here. Well, the carpets are not very space efficient, although they can go in everywhere we need to walk, right? We need to walk there, so that needs to be reserved for walking. So putting carpets where we need to walk anyway is probably not a big expense, space-wise. Okay, I'm gonna do that for cemetery purposes. 80 workers, 100% efficiency on a really, really large admin center. I think that will work. So we're going to do double doors there and there. There and there. And single doors in the middle. We have 100% insulation. It's not on the best ground for foundation, but that'll be fine. We got the furniture, we got the wood, we got the fabric. Let's queue that up. And then that's going to be 80 workers. So let's bring in, or authorize bringing in another 80 humans. We're going up to 630 humans. There we go. Meantime, I'm going to hold a little bit off the torches. I'm going to start going through and doing upgrades to the hearts. We'll do them in order, of course. Although, anyone that's not, you know, level, we've got the first upgrade, we should do them first. Because the first upgrade is cheaper than the second one. And then you'll be the first upgraded to fully upgraded. Here we got enough ore coming in. There we got enough coal coming in. Practice might be different than theory, but hopefully not. And then this administration, if we can provide it with enough paper, should hopefully be enough to actually provide us a productivity bonus instead of a malice. I don't think we have a particularly large malice yet. We can actually pop in and see. We're taking a 6% malice. We can get up to a 10% bonus from admin. Honestly, we probably don't want to aim for having a bonus from admin. Rather, we want to avoid the malice. That's probably what we're looking for. Pop out to the world map. And they still consider us rivals. Although, apparently the opinion is trending upward, probably because their extortion's wearing off. And yeah, we're still at the point where we do have betrayal from declaring on them. Yeah, almost got that administration. Well, I got all the stuff delivered at this point, so I just gotta assemble it. Also, I'm putting that generator together, which should help out. And waiting for metal to come in, so I just gotta be patient with metal. Getting 20 surplus metal a day. Okay, so in theory, with 37 people working on it, we should be hitting maximum... Oh, can I assign tools here without research? No. Should be hitting the maximum bonus from admin. So, we overbuilt. That's fine. I'm on board with that. We also, in theory, brought in more humans than we need to work it, but that, again, that's fine. The concern right now I'm having is we probably don't have enough paper production. That's, in theory, taking 102 paper. We are making 56, so I need, apparently, another paper maker. Going to get that queued up. I'd like to be focusing more on services than on admin, but we're getting dragged off into admin right now. Oh, another thing I should be doing is I should be raising our stockpiling limits on the Scythian. Should go up to about 8,000 on this now. If it goes much more than that, I'll have to put more crates in the warehouse, but that's fine. That'll stop the exporting of Sutherland for a little bit, but that'll make the Dondorians a little bit happier. The Dondorians want 2x the population to be Sutherland ore. How many do I need per hearth upgrade? 224. Not quite there yet. And the paper maker's going to take a little bit of ground. We're a little low on wood. I gotta go harvest more wood. Of course, the paper makers are eating wood, so I'm gonna have to expand paper production, wood production soon. Bring another 50 Dondorians in. See if we can get that to get the odd jobbers positive again. Yeah, put this back on positive odd jobbers. Paper makers rebuilt, and the new paper maker is built. Although that's put us odd jobber negative again, so apparently we need more workers again. And we're gonna need more wood production as well. Okay, once all this is wood harvested, I'm going to go ahead and set up some more lumber camps. It's just so the wood doesn't tend to be yo-yoing as much. We're running a deficit of like 500 something wood, and that needs to get fixed. In the meantime, time for the next hearth to be upgraded. And so as every once in a while, we should double check to make sure we got housing nearby, and apparently, yeah, we're at the point where we're going to need probably more housing and human area over here, which has probably been upgraded. Now we can get a little more in here. Yeah, that's helped in the housing. Good to know. Yeah, and the wood cutting's almost already half done. We've barely moved the wood up, so we definitely need to increase the lumber cutting, wood cutting degree. Checking out the wood map, their army's still opposite ours, which is good to see. Still too early to declare on them. Yeah, let's try to bring another 100 Dondorians in. I'm gonna do a small one for the moment because we know we've got good trees in this section here. Wait for some of the forest to recover before I go and just plaster it over with more wood cutters. I know I'm putting it on good spots. Pretty sure that's going to grow back and become a decent spot, but we'll hold off on covering it just in case it doesn't grow back. Or that I misplace it because I don't know exactly where it's supposed to be, sort of thing. This is... Probably can get more over here if I do a little bit of hydration, but... Yeah, let's take the sort of native forest portion here. This one won't be a very big one, but that works. And this again is to offset the lumber upkeep, both of the woodcutter, or both the carpenters, the paper makers, and all the maintenance, because most of the buildings is made of wood at the moment. Well, actually, no. We're so high on stone, not because stone is being produced adequately, but because we're carving into the mountain in a bunch of places. So where we're in the mountain, that's obviously producing stone for the initial carve-in. Okay, that one's done. It won't take long for this one to be done. And I don't have enough innovation right now. Oh, no, I do. Take that next woodcutter tech. It's worth it. 5 innovation for effectively 7 workers worth of product. I'd still be tempted to do more on that. Especially if we get it from the next title. A little way off from that. Another 500. And then nobles. What nobles do I have assigned? Fishing's good. Do I have a lumber guy? I don't have a lumber guy. It would be tempting to do lumber. Well, it'd also be tempting to do stone. Yeah. And metal. There's so many things that... Well, actually, no, we got a metal guy. Metal guy is actually perfect at current level. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah, so wood and stone would be tempting. Let's spend a promotion here, so we get a little bit more out of the brew. And let me find 2 Dondorians. Wait, do I not have a human promoted? Do not have a noble human. Let's find a human. You get to be a noble. And you know what? You're gonna be the human. Or you're gonna be the noble in charge of wood. And I've got almost 150 woodworkers, so we'll give you 1 promotion. And then we'll find 1 Dondorian, we'll put the Dondorian in... Actually, no. I'm not going to do the Dondorians for stone yet, simply because we don't have any stone miners yet. There's nothing really stopping me from grabbing another noble. Just, I think the thing he probably wants to be assigned to is stone. We're obviously not making any stone yet. We're importing. Harvesting it from carving tunnels in the mountains or tanks. And it's not too alarming right now because it's all coming from tanks. Okay, so in theory, with that noble and the new woodcutters in, we're actually wood positive, so we'll hold off on more wood expansion. Negative on knowledge. Why am I negative on knowledge? Not everyone has shown up to work in the libraries. Okay, that's not super good. Is there a housing issue in the area? No. $400 plus 66. 466. And we got the 2 laboratories for another 150. 550. Should have enough humans to fill those jobs. We'll go up to 650 humans. Be a little bit more than 3 we need, but that should give us a few more to work in the library. And then, yeah, we're basically, for service upgrades, we're currently waiting to get these hearths upgraded. And apparently, in the middle of winter here, we probably need more hearths. We got a lot more red than we really want to be seeing. What was that about? Quarrelsome merchant. I can get bribed, or I can just say no. We're gonna refuse publicly. These are the temporary happiness bonus. Still got an odd jobber shortage. Let's let another 50 of these guys in. There we go. That should take us odd jobber positive. Healthy amount of wood positive. What's the trying to think about what's the next service we're going to improve. Probably baths. Baths is probably what we're going to... Well, it's less of an improvement and more of a new build, right? The next thing we're going to be building is bathhouses. Do you want to bring in enough humans to do that? Yeah, let's try to bring another 100 humans in. And we'll get another laboratory so we've got enough knowledge. Okay, before I let too much time pass, it's due time for me to put another part bringing. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow. We sit sort of on the eve of war, but while we're ready for this war... Oh, okay, well, right now we're out of position for the war, because their army's right next to our capital, and ours is not next to their army, but we're still sitting on betrayal penalties, which we need for this to wear off before we start the war. Yeah, I think things are going well. We've hit admin tier, where we have to deal with administration. Although that's not too bad. It needs a little bit of... I think this probably could do a little bit of tweaking. It's maybe a little punitive when it shows up. And the automatically automates to 110%. That's why this isn't... well, this will soon hit the 80 maximum workers and start running down. Which is already somewhat scary. Oh, and I don't have enough paper, so if we're going to continue to expand that, I might need more paper. Actually, we're pretty close to the right amount of paper, but yeah, if we're going to continue to expand admin, we're going to need more paper. And that's where that'll get burdensome. But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow. As soon as we get this lab in, we're going to be looking for more services, and I think that is going to be bathhouses. And that's going to come down to providing enough coal, really, to provide the adequate bathhouses. I think we can build that while we're upgrading the hearths without too much of a problem. I might be wrong there. Oh, wait, it also costs metal. We're in the realm of we need more metal, apparently. Oh, and apparently I'm negative on metal, even with the metal smelters. The new metal smelter. I apparently will need another metal smelter. Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's what we'll have to do at the beginning of next month, another metal smelter. Not really what I want to be working on, but it's what we're going to be doing. It's getting more metal smelting because we need more metal. More metal. So until next time, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream, and bye for now.